Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest and welcome to December 11, 2024, 2 weeks from Christmas. Christmas falls on Wednesday this year. Anyway, another red day on the market. In fact, I'm going to refer this week as the Red Week, sort of like the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones. But to be honest with you, if you do have a look at the SCEE weekly chart, you notice we quite regularly see red weeks. The market doesn't go up in a straight line, just like individual companies don't go up a straight line. You see many red weeks, many good weeks or green weeks. So nothing to be concerned about right now. But so far this week, 3 trading days, the XGO is down 0.8%. So nothing that much, to be honest. Another bad day for tech, down 0.79%. Yesterday, we had a pretty good day for resources. However, resources down 0.51%. So nothing in the green. Anyway. So what's the agenda for today's video? We'll go through the best and worst performing sectors, indices, and also companies. I've already quoted the stock of the day, which is Alphabet. Alphabet, one of the biggest companies in the world. And then I also have 4 other companies that have made it into my top 5 stocks of the day. No really other possibilities when it comes to that. So we are seeing, because we're moving towards Christmas, we're not seeing as many interesting announcements being released. And I've also recorded the chart of the day, Sol Pattinson. It was going to be AP Eagers, but then I saw a comment from Just James Dean, and I thought, why not have Sol Pats as the chart of the day? Okay, so let's get into the ASX today and a negative day. In fact, it fell through most of the morning. In fact, at one point today, all tech was up. So we don't want to see that. We don't want to see the market dropping all through the day. We want to see it either going sideways or maybe rising during the last half of the day. So maybe the American futures are down. Don't know. If you have a look at the sectors, real estate was up 0.81%. I would say without doubt that's because of Goodman Group. I'm going to bet Goodman Group had a pretty good day today. And let's just verify that. We'll just have a look at ComSec. Goodman Group up 1.7%. That is why real estate is up, because Goodman Group is like 60% of that particular sector. Discretionary, okay, at least it's in the green. A really bad day for energy, industrials, and IT, all down by more than 1%. And I suppose you could say a pretty bad day for financials, healthcare, and utilities. So really not a good day at all when it comes to the market or sectors. At least yesterday, we had mining having a pretty good day. At least gold was up, which is not a surprise. I did see an article today about gold. I think it was in Capital Brief, just mentioning gold was doing fairly well. Yeah, ASX gold stocks rise on US interest rates optimism, but when you look at where is it? The indices, it's not that much, and don't have to really go on anymore. Let's have a look at the ASX 20, down only 0.28%, so a pretty good day, comparatively speaking. I know I would assume I'd say about, I'm going to say 13 companies down, 7 up. Or 5 up, 15 down. Which are the 5 companies up today? We already know Goodman Group. We also have Wesfarmers, BHP, REA Group, and Transurban. And the worst performing company in the ASX 20, we have WiseTech, QBE, Fortescue, ANZ. So bit of weakness in the banks again. Where is Pro Medicus? Pro Medicus is not here. Pro Medicus has been in this list for the last... Does this change every single day? This must change every single day. I didn't realize that. Pro Medicus was on this list the last few days, and now it's off it. And that's probably because it dropped 8% yesterday. That's interesting. I didn't realize this was a fluid indice. Interesting. I had no idea. There we go. Now I know. Now let's have a look at the top gainers and the top losers on the ASX today. I don't think there's going to be many surprises here, if any at all. The best performing company by percentage change is NextEd, and I will talk about that company. That is in my top 5 stocks of the day. I had a look at Vection Technologies. I know the share price of that company was up, but they released nothing. So it looks like there is a bit of positive momentum, positive sentiment moving back into Vection Technologies, up to 2.8 cents. It was down below 1 cent for a while. In fact, let's have a look at the chart for Vection Technologies. Why not? Not the weekly chart, because the weekly chart looks horrendous. But if you have a look at the daily chart for Vection, yeah, definitely there's been a change in sentiment. You can see massive volume, maybe not massive, but really big volume compared to what we have seen for this company, which tells us the market is getting interested or re-interested in this company again. And a pretty good day. I think this was just a buy the dip situation. Share price had pulled back, found a little bit of support, and has taken off again. What else do we have here? Lots of small companies. A company called SCEE did release something. What if this is no, I was going to say is if this company is named in honor of Axl Rose, but I doubt it. Yeah, so they released some drilling results. I don't understand this at all. Record grades at Calado. So let's have a look at the chart for AXL. I've never heard of this company before. This is the first time I've heard of Axl Rees, and maybe this is why. This is an interesting chart. I'm going to go back to ComSec. Just have a look at the chart in this because sometimes TradingView's chart is pretty shitty. Or maybe I shouldn't say that word. Pretty crappy. And looks like Axl Rees is a recent listing. 22nd of July. Yeah, I'd say this is a recent listing. So let's go back here. Oh, yeah. So this share price way up here, about $2, was back in 2018. So this is a recent listing. That's why this chart looks weird. And that's one thing I don't like about TradingView. It can't distinguish between two different companies who have the same ticker code. One might have been 10 years ago, and then a new company pops up on the ASX with exactly the same ticker code, and it can't distinguish between those two companies. Anyway, so Axl Rees chart, a lot of selling today. I don't like that. Even though share price is up, a lot of selling. Share price was at 1.11 cents. Now it's down to 8.3. That's a fair bit of selling. Fair bit of selling pressure on Axl Rees. What else do we have here? Nothing. Avada Group. Fairly low volume. Singular Health. I was thinking about Singular Health yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? Share price had pulled back, and I was thinking, well, that's a nice little pullback. Yeah, it must have been on Monday. Share price went down to 12 cents. This chart does look pretty good. I like this chart for Singular Health. I should have maybe thought about buying some shares at 12 cents, but that's okay. There's a lot of opportunities in the market. Now let's have a look by market cap. And we have Silex, something to do with uranium. Orobana's had a pretty good day. Some gold companies in there, Star Entertainment Group. Southern Cross Electrical Engineering up 9%, and that is in my top 5 stocks of the day. Anything else of interest or note here? Acusensus up 13%. I almost bought some shares in Acusensus today as a trade. I wish I bought some because I would have bought some about $1.05. So share price is a little bit up from there, and that is in my top 5 stocks of the day. In fact, I've mentioned 4 of the top 5 stocks. There's only one missing, and I don't think that's going to be in this list. Okay, so let's have a look at the top gainers by market cap. No, I think I just did that, didn't I? Now let's have a look at top losers. Which companies have not done well today? And most of the worst performing companies are down on fairly low volume, except Paradigm Pharmaceuticals. Or biopharmaceuticals. I'm pretty sure this company released or had a capital raising not that long ago, maybe a few days ago, and the share price is down. Finding a bit of pressure. I did like this chart, and maybe, share price went on a big run, a lot of volatility the last couple of weeks. Share price has ranged between 44 and 62 cents. So a lot of volatility with Paradigm Biopharmaceuticals. So if you have the stomach for this type of volatility, maybe this is the type of trade or company for you. Anything else here? Nothing. Now let's have a look at the worst performing companies by market cap. Clarity Index. I don't remember any of these companies releasing anything of note today. Nothing of note. So I'm going to move on to the top 5 stocks of the day. No, let's look at Clarity. I do own shares in this company. I bought a small position as sort of a hedge against Titus Pharmaceuticals and I would say that this chart is turning negative. So if I was simply trading this, I probably would have sold out by now. I definitely would have sold out by now. This is really a nice little example of a shift in sentiment and trend in the share price over, we'll say about 3 to 4 month period. Share price reached a high back in September, and the previous high did not get close to that high. And then the share price fell through a support level. That would have been my sell price there at about $6.50. It actually did bounce back up to that level perfectly. Beautiful bounce, and it has just simply gone down from there. This is actually a bad looking chart right now for Clarity. I think definitely the uptrend has come to an end. Okay, so let's get to the top 5 stocks right now. We'll start off with South32, the only company that was not seen in the top losers and gainers of the day. South32 down 4.35%. You might hear people talking about the geopolitical risks of some mining companies. What do they call it? The sovereign risk of mining companies. And this is another example. So South32 has all their operations, apparently. This is why it's called South32, have all the operations, all their projects south of latitude 32. I'm not sure if that's true, but I've heard that's why the company is called South32. Now, this update from the company is regards to one of their projects in Mozambique, which I'm pretty sure is south of 32. Anyway, and this does show you or highlight there are, I was going to say perceived increased higher sovereign risk in African countries, but the problem with me saying perceived is sort of implying that maybe that's not true. But we have seen over the past, few months that maybe there is higher sovereign risk in these African countries, because many of these mining companies that have operations in Africa are releasing announcements that probably prove there is increased risk. And South32 is the last one to do that. So the company advises that due to escalating civil unrests in Mozambique, the transport of raw materials to Mosul, aluminium, depending where you come from, is being impacted by road blockages. And again, South32 has no control over this. Now, if they had control of this, they should be running the country, but they don't. They have implemented contingency plans to mitigate operational impacts, and we are working with relevant stakeholders. We are withdrawing production guidance for Mosul aluminium as we respond to the evolving situation. And we have seen this time and time again. When anything like this happens, the share price will fall. Sometimes the share price will drop a lot. I'm thinking of like West African Resources. Pretty sure the share price of that company dropped maybe 20% when there was perceived increase in risk of the company. So South32, and the other thing I should mention is the market hates risk. So this is an increasing risk when it comes to South32. They've withdrawn guidance of the production at this particular facility. So let's have a look at the chart for South32. I'm pretty sure the chart was looking, no, maybe not. In fact, the daily chart shows me nothing. It's just all over the place. It's range bounding between 280 and $4. It's been doing that during 2024. If you have a look at the weekly chart, yeah, well, there's me buying South32 back in 2020. I bought it a little bit too early, and then the share price broke out about 3 months after I bought. And look at the rise of share price after that breakout. Woo. Anyway, I'm seeing nothing to really like when it comes to the chart. In fact, the share price falls much lower. That would be a little bit negative, but you can see there's a nice little support level. Hopefully you can see a nice little support level at about 280. That's the last two lows. So sort of like a double bottom here at 280. So that could be, if the share price falls that low, that could be a nice buy price for South32. But anyway, just emphasizing that, or South32 is emphasizing that there is a bit of a higher risk when it comes to their operations or any mining company operations in African countries. Now, I'm not going to say anymore. It's there. It's a real risk. That's a real risk. I didn't look at any economic news, by the way. And nothing there. Okay, let's move on to company number 4. Now, this might be being a little bit unfair on Ex-Div Group because share price is up 47.8% on this particular news. And I'm not the biggest fan of these type of companies. This is an education company, and education companies are ultimately ruled by legislation or regulatory things by governments. They can succeed or fail just because of the government. And to be honest with you, now you might argue a lot of companies are like that, but this is one area or one space that I think is highly dependent on the government. Anyway, so Ex-Div requires rights to re-enroll IH students. So the market likes this. Now, have a look at the chart in a second. This company's share price has been absolutely destroyed over the past few years. I can't remember exactly why, but I still remember Ex-Div releasing something a few years ago and the share price just plunged. I can't tell you exactly what that is. But anyway, They do provide some numbers here. So they're talking about re-enrolling 1,800 students, English language and vocational students, and they do give a number here, which is what would excite me. So if they were just talking about number of students and that's it without giving a number, I wouldn't be as excited about this particular announcement. But NextEd expects to generate incremental revenues in the range of 6 to 7 million for the second half of financial year 25 based on expected student re-enrollments. Student payments already made and study duration. So that's a nice little kick to the company's revenue. And that's all I really thought about when I looked at this particular announcement. And it seems like the market has liked it. However, the chart, is this the end of the downtrend? Is the share price making moves to the upside? I think there is a chance because the share price probably has been going sideways for about 5 months. And if you just put a line, we have seen the share price rally a couple of times in the past 4 months. And if you put a line right there, so that's the highs we have seen back in August. Share price got close to that level back in November, middle of November, not that long ago, about a month ago. And the share price today went straight to that line and pulled back a little bit. So that line is 18 cents. So if the share price gets above 18 cents, that would be a pretty bullish move for NextEd. Now, I'd probably have to see it over a few days just to get confirmation. I do like the increase in volume. So there is a chance that this is a shift in sentiment and a trend in the share price. And now I need confirmation, but it is looking much more interesting right now than it has been for a while. So even this little rally in August, I wouldn't have been interested in that. And this one here back in November, not interested. This is the one that I'm a little bit more interested in. However, in saying that, if you do have a look at how the share price has fallen or how much the share price has fallen since the start of 2023, it has fallen a lot. So back at it would have been March of that year, the share price was $1.80. Now it's 17 cents. So there's going to be a lot of shareholders who had bought at high prices who just want to get out. They just need to get out. And whenever they see the share price rising, they see an opportunity to sell at not as much of a loss. So there will be resistance. That's why I do like long consolidation periods, because when you see the share price going sideways for a long time, there's a much better chance that those shareholders who bought at high prices just get bored. They see the share price just going sideways and say, well, I could put this money to better use, and they will sell. And eventually, most of those will sell. And when the share price starts to go up, no resistance or little resistance, much smaller resistance than otherwise. So that's why I do like long consolidation periods, because you get rid of all those jaded shareholders. Anyway, so let's move on to company number 3, Southern Cross. I am no longer trading Southern Cross. I should put that out there right now. Share price up 9%. So we'll have a look at the chart, and I'll just probably explain maybe very quickly why I've sold out of Southern Cross. Now, they did release an announcement today, project awards circa 125 million. It's not the sort of announcement that would get me back in at all. And it's not the sort of announcement that would get me excited. I don't really care all that much about project awards or contracts awards, that sort of thing. I care about profit upgrades, trading updates, positive trading updates, profit downgrades, that sort of thing. This tells me, well, they're winning contracts, but what's the margins? Is this going to be beneficial for the financial numbers for the company? It may not be. I've seen plenty of times in the past when companies have released contract or win after contract win, and it does nothing for the underlying performance of the company because they have to undercut their competitors to get these awards. I'm not saying Southern Cross is doing that, but I'm just saying this is not the sort of announcement that would get me re-excited in the company. So let's have a look. I'm not even going to go through. Actually, I will go through what they've won. So projects in data center. It's one of the reasons why I took a trade in Southern Cross. The market was aware that this company had a foot in the door when it comes to data centers. So data centers, commercial, manufacturing, resources, and water sectors. So let's have a look at the chart for Southern Cross. Am I back to being excited? And the answer to that is no. So yeah, share price is a beautiful uptrend, and you can just see it rolling over. Now, we were seeing higher highs, higher lows. That was really good. And we saw that come to an end back in August, September. We weren't getting any more high highs. In fact, the highs were a little bit lower than the previous highs, and the lows were either the same level or a little bit lower. And then we started to see the share price drop. We saw a nice little rally in the share price back in the middle of November and moved into the short-term moving average channel and then fell away. Look at that, big fall. So even though this was a nice little move today for Southern Cross, it's not really a shift in that sentiment. So there's still a bit of negative sentiment when it comes to this company. And in fact, we did see a bit of selling today. Share price went to a high of $1.62 and share price closed at $1.51. So we did see selling today, and that's not surprising because it does look like the sentiment has shifted a little bit negative for this company. And definitely the share price is in at least a short-term downtrend. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not yet back in Southern Cross Electrical Engineering. Anyway, let's move on to company coming in number 2. We have Acusensus. I am definitely willing to trade this one. Yes, so it opened at $4.50. The low was $1.04. I should have taken a position. This was one I was like, maybe I'll just see if it just drops to like $1.02. I should have just bit right on, maybe not on open. A lot of times I do want to wait. Sometimes I will wait just to see how the share price goes. But anyway, Acusensus up, share price up 12.44%. Mobile phone and seatbelt contract expansion in Queensland. So this company is starting to win or announce more contracts won. And the more and more contracts they win, the more, it's better. So it's sort of like, as I mentioned with Southern Cross, this is not the sort of announcement that will get me excited. The only difference between really Acusensus and Southern Cross is the chart. And I'm going to be honest with you, that's the only difference between, well, there's more differences. They do different things. Now, I could say something cynical when it comes to Acusensus and what they're doing in this sort of contract. For instance, it's a mobile phone and seatbelt contract expansion in Queensland. I could say something really cynical about these sort of deals the governments are doing with Acusensus. It's not about protecting the citizens of our state. It's about revenue generation. We want to see more people, catch more people doing the wrong thing so we get more money coming in the coffers, that sort of thing. Anyway, so that's one of the reasons why, another reason why I'm not the biggest fan of this company, just because, there's reasons behind that. I'm not a big fan of a nanny state, even though I do understand that using a mobile phone while driving is absolutely ridiculous. The very fact that you could have your seatbelt just a little bit wrong and you get fined, I think that's going a little bit too far. But I do agree with mobile phones. I do think that is a problem because it can kill other people. Anyway, so let's have a look at the chart for Acusensus. And I think there is longer-term issues with this company. When I say longer-term, I'm talking about long-term issues. But the chart looks really good. This is a really nice-looking chart. Some really big volume coming in because of these contracts. So that's the main difference between Southern Cross and this one. It's just a chart. If Southern Cross looks really good, I would actually be more interested in that particular announcement. So that's why Acusensus comes in number 2, because of the chart. It's a nice-looking chart. It's almost at all-time highs. It has to get it to about $1.18. Okay, and I've already recorded the stock of the day, which is Alphabet. And the main reason that is a stock of the day is because the share price actually increased overnight by 5% for Alphabet. And when I saw it increase by 5%, I was like, is that because of Willow? Is that because of Willow? For those who have not or don't care about Willow, all you have to do is just Google Willow. Funny enough, Google. You might get something about the movie Willow, 1988, but you get all these new articles about Google's new Willow quantum computing chip. And the thing that excited me was, I could see this medium, Google's mind-boggling quantum chip, 10 septillion years versus 5 minutes. I just find that absolutely fascinating. And it seems like the market thought that as well. And all I've heard in regards to why the share price of this company rose 5% is because of this new quantum Willow chip, whatever it's called. Anyway, so that is the stock of the day. One of the biggest companies in the world. I think it might be the 3rd or 4th biggest company. Anyway, so let's move on to some comments. Okay, so just James Dean. Yep, thank you. Hit resistance and immediately pull back. I've already talked about that. That is my chart of the day. I'll release that on the morning of Thursday, the 12th of December, not January. Victory One-Able regarding mine life. It's not unknown for a miner to find more ore after they start operations. So 7-year mine life might stretch out to 10 or 12 or longer. That is absolutely right. In fact, I have owned mining companies in the past, and most of them do exactly this. Well, in fact, I'm pretty sure some of these mining companies I've had in the past bought a mine, had like a 4-year mine life, and they extended for years beyond 4 years. I have a feeling maybe Northern Star did that as well. So even though they do mention a mine life, more than likely it will be extended. That's another reason to be excited about Develop Global, that their mine lives might be much greater than 10, 7, and 5, whatever it was. So thank you for that, Victory One Able, because absolutely right. Rick Thellion, branch it perhaps has to do with US Air Force. It has to do for an additional capability to the F-35 helmet, being $400,000 each, just thinking out loud. And you're welcome to think out loud. I would like people to think out loud more often. And Ben Hutchinson has just reaffirming that Develop Global's $100 million at 6.7% interest rate is really good. Yeah, I suppose it's good. It's like a residential mortgage, but for a mining project. Yes, I do think it's pretty good. Yes, I have seen some companies who get funding at interest rates above 15%. So in that context, yeah, $100 million at 6.7% is pretty good. Okay, SAF 99681. With the bank so overvalued, a 20 to 25% or more drop is possible. And since they make up as so much of the index, that would mean a significant drop for the index. Yes! If this happens, do you think the broader market could continue to rise even as the index drops significantly, or would negative sentiment likely spread, leading to widespread falls? I'd say what's caused the banks to start decreasing, it could be bad economic news that could be leading that, and that I think will draw the rest of the market down. I think on the other hand, I think what could happen is you could just see the banks starting to sell off because they're so overvalued that there's no point buying them, and they just drop, and it doesn't really affect the rest of the market. In fact, you might see the banks starting to drop and then a rotation from the banks into mining companies, back into BHP, Rio Tinto, Fortescue, maybe back into CSL, that sort of thing. So that's definitely a possibility as well. The banks drop and some of these other companies, bigger companies, start to rise. And I'm pretty sure those companies, none of those are in uptrends right now. So it depends on the situation and why the banks are dropping. But definitely, if the banks do drop, because we are so highly concentrated, it's so wild how concentrated we are. If you have a look at the biggest companies, there's just little variety. List of ASX companies, and this is one of the things I don't like about the ASX. Now, you might say the same thing about America. Well, they're dominated by tech companies, but I'd much rather buy tech companies than banks. Anyway, so if you have a look at the list of ASX companies, bank, mining, health, CSL's on its own there. So bank, mining, health, bank, a conglomerate, real estate, mining, Telstra, telecommunications, mining, suppose Aristocrat is sort of, what do you call that? Tech / something else. Then we have tech, utilities, infrastructure, and then we have, what's the opposite of staples? No, not the opposite of staples. I was going to say, what's the opposite of discretionary? Staples. And then REA Group, then QBE Finances, then Bramble. So you can just see at the top of the 7 biggest companies in Australia, 5 of those are banks, highly concentrated in financials. It's one thing I don't like about the ASX. Okay, so thank you for that. And your forest moment, my rant, is people who can't spell losses. Are you referring to me? Because that is, I used the right word. So losers, I was talking about losers, not losses. So Elon Musk loses, so losers is more singular, losses is more plural. So I was talking about the singular, not the plural. So the ASX loses 200 million. That's more of a singular. So hopefully you're not referring to me. Maybe you're referring to someone else. Maybe you're referring to a loss. People can't spell loss. For instance, one of my other pet peeves is spelling loss as loose. I absolutely hate this. Lose versus lose. It is so rampant. Here we go. Loose and lose are often confused. No, it's way more than that. It is rampant how many people can't spell, or who spell lose with 2 O's. I hate it. Hate it. It's just so common right now. And the funny thing is, the longer this goes on, where people can't, or they spell lose the wrong way with 2 O's, eventually lose will be spelt with 2 O's because that will become the accepted thing. And I will hate that. but I probably won't be alive when that happens. So hopefully you aren't talking about me, because I use lose in the right sense. So maybe you're talking about someone else. KM, oh, a nice little pry from KM. I realize now that my experience led me to think that BC8 price was sliding, but I'm learning a lot from your videos, which I watch daily without fail. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you, KM. Oh yeah, I've got to go now. 30 minutes long. That's all I could keep this video. I suppose I could go for another 5 minutes. Yes, I'll do a couple more. Trade tech. Yes, this annoys about my little rant on losers. This annoys me also, particularly when a company goes ex-dividend or on the dividend payment date. All these market analysis muppets calling such times a loss or losers. CommSec do it. AusBiz do it also. Yes. In fact, sometimes I will have to verify why the share price of a company has dropped 5%. It doesn't make sense. And then I see it's gone ex-dividend, and that's why. I didn't realize CommSec and AusBiz do it, but they should know better. They should know better. Anyway, so that's it. That's it for this particular video. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.